Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to the channel. You know it's your boy Making. But before we start, two announcement. Go and check out What If Naruto Was the Next Stage of Six Path on my second channel. And on this channel, go and check out What If Naruto went missing for 4 years. And now I'm gonna be giving you part 3 of What If Tsunade was Naruto's mother. Get this one to 100 like as usual. Remember to share it to all of your friends on your social media platform. And when you click that red subscribe button, go ahead and turn on that bell notification so you can see when I post immediately, guys. And if you haven't yet, go over to my second channel. A link will be at the top of the description. And click that red subscribe button and be a part of Anime King 2, where I post all sorts of different what if. And yeah guys, that was it, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Tsunade found out that she was pregnant, and she made her way back to the Leaf Village with pure rage. After getting there and having a huge argument with Jiraiya, Minato, and Hiruzen, she ended up beating the crap out of Jiraiya after she was on her mood swings, and sometimes she was happy, sad, and mostly angry, and Jiraiya mistakenly said that she was a cougar out loud, and she beat the living crap out of him. So the last part we left off, Hiruzen went on to explain the safety and the dangers for the child being in this world and having a mother like Tsunade, Senju, and having a father like Minato Namikaze. As Minato asked Tsunade to move back to the village and she told him no. So the third Hokage decided to come up with a compromise. So that was the last part we left off. So, let's get straight into this new one. The third Hokage Hiruzen looked at both of them. For the past several years, the small nearby forest of Mihara has sent many requests asking us to send a medical ninja to their village. Their community has no real doctor to treat the injured and the sick, and they usually have to travel here to get help, or send someone to bring back a medical team or a medical ninja to help them in dire situations. If they had their own doctor to train someone there, then they could help themselves. My suggestion is that you two, he indicated Tsunade and Shizune, go there where you can help the people and train someone to help with their minor issues and their illness and their injuries. Also, since that village is near us and our patrol always make it out there, we can make sure that you're safe, said Hiruzen. Not to mention, if Minato gave you one of his special kunai, he can be there within seconds. Therefore, you each get what you want. Tsunade doesn't have to stay in the Leaf Village, but she can stay nearby and Minato get what he wants as well, so she can be protected and he can know that his child is in good hands and safety. Everyone win, Hiruzen said as he finished. After Minato and Tsunade heard Sarutobi's solution, they thought about it for a few minutes as the both of them nodded in agreement. As the both of them agree with this. Fine then, I will just get some things from the hospital before I head out to the village, Tsunade said as she turned to leave. Before you go, Tsunade, take this, Minato said as he handed her one of his special kunais. She took the kunai and nodded her thanks before turning and walking out of the office, as Shizune nodded to everyone as she followed behind Tsunade. Once Tsunade had left out of earshot, both Minato and Hiruzen took a sigh of relief as the both of them were exhausted. Their talk with Tsunade and the bombshell that she just dropped has drained the both of them more than they possibly thought. Jiraiya on the other hand was lying a heap until he started growing in pain. He was covered in black and blue bruises all over his body, and his two eyes were swollen. Minato, I think you should take him to the hospital, Hiruzen suggested. No, Jiraiya said, Tsunade will be there. Just wait until she leaves, Jiraiya said, as he lied down back on the ground again and passed out, fell unconscious, as the both of them then sighed. For the next 9 months, Tsunade helped the people of Mihera. Most of her duties mainly dealt with small illnesses and injuries that the most of them got in farming. Tsunade was also training a young girl, and her name was Kara. She had a lot of knowledge in herbs already, so it would be easy to teach her a thing or two. During their stay, both Tsunade and Shizune teach Kara in the way of healing people and how to define different kinds of herbs and what to mainly use. Between medical duties, Tsunade finds her temporary life in this village to be quite peaceful and relaxing. No harm or no stress to do anything to the baby. Everything was quite calm and peaceful. Also, Jiraiya, Minato, and Hiruzen visited Tsunade, sometime 2 by 2, sometime Minato alone, and sometime all 3 of them went there. And because of Tsunade rushing into the village, questions were asked. Minato decided to make up a story where he told all of them that Jiraiya, writing his latest book, that a female character matching Tsunade's appearance fell in love with a white-haired man, and they did all sorts of nasty things, and that is why she was so angry. People were quickly to believe that, mostly the older ninjas, knowing Jiraiya's personality and all that, and some didn't really care. Also, earlier in the pregnant, Shizune ran a test on Tsunade to find out the sex of the baby, which was a boy, and Minato already had a name in mind, Naruto. After hearing this name, Tsunade quickly fell in love with that name, wanted to name her baby boy Naruto, until the day finally came when Tsunade was in labor, as she was screaming out, "This is all your fault, Minato! I am going to kill you for what you've done to me!" as she was in such pain delivering her baby boy. Minato was there as he held her hand in a sign of support, but she crushed it in pain as she was holding on to it so tight he could feel like his hand was going numb. After a couple of minutes, Shizune then carried the small baby in a blanket to Tsunade. "Lady Tsunade, let me introduce you to your newborn son, Senju Naruto." Tsunade was tired, but she looked down at the crying baby in her arms as she gently rocked him from left to right, as she now felt pure happiness, as because of Dawn's death and everything, she was in some kind of depression, but now all of that was lifted and she felt pure joy. Soon Naruto stopped crying as he looked to his mother to show his bright blue eyes, as he smiled back at her, making him look so adorable. As Minato, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen were all in the room, as Jiraiya said, "Look, he has Minato's eyes and his hair. He's like a mini Minato." Yes, but he has Tsunade's nose, her chin, and her skin tone. Naruto's skin tone color was bright as Tsunade. "He's beautiful, Tsunade," said Shizune as she looked down at the baby boy, as his innocent eyes followed her. "He is, isn't he?" Tsunade whispered to herself as she couldn't keep the smile off of her face as she looked at her boy. In her mind, he was the most adorable thing that she's ever seen. He might as well been the most beautiful and precious entity in the entire world. "Don't you agree, Minato?" she asked without even looking at him, as she was so focused on Naruto. "Definitely," Minato said with a smile, as Jiraiya then commented, When he get older, he will be a killer with the ladies. As he then chuckled, as Minato also chuckled. Ha, said Tsunade, like any of those little hussies or tramps are good enough for my little Naruto. She said, while never breaking eye contact, as Naruto then laughed, making him look even more adorable. Tsunade, if I may, I would like to take Naruto to the maternity ward to make sure that he's in perfect health, said Shizune. Fine, said Tsunade, but I don't want anyone but you touching Naruto. Is that clear? Tsunade said, as Shizune then sighed and said, yeah, that's perfectly clear. I won't let anyone lay a hand on him. As she then took Naruto and exited the room. This leave Minato, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen all to themselves as Tsunade was in the room as she was getting rest, as she was very tired after delivering a child. Then a Anvu with a silver hair and a dog-shaped mask appear in front of them. Lord Hokage, I have just gotten a report that the Kyuubi has appeared out of nowhere and attacking the village. What? The Kyuubi? Minato said in pure shock. Damn it, why now? As he looked at the Anvu and tell him to go and rally up all of the forces. He then told Hiruzen to go and organize the forces on the tower. Jiraiya sensei, I need you to help with the evacuation of the civilians. Get them to the shelter as quickly as possible. I will help set up the front line defenses outside and stop the Kyuubi, as all of them then disperse. About an hour later, at the front defense line, about a mile away from Konoha, was the giant Kyuubi, as a line of ninjas surrounded Konoha, ready to protect it, as they saw the immense fox. Even though the difference in power, all of the Leaf Shinobis stand their ground and stand tall, ready to protect the village. They were willing to risk their life and die, so the fox will not make it and destroy all of Konoha. When they finally made contact, they all fought the fox as best they could, firing their long-range attack and doing their best, but the fox quickly swatted them all away, as the attacks were like they were nothing to him. After about 2 hours of fighting, the demon fox was nearing in on Konoha, as he could see the outer walls of the village. Jiraiya and Hiruzen were at the top of the main gates, watching the fox with concern. They knew that if something wasn't done soon, that Konoha would surely be destroyed. As they watched the fox, they were soon joined by the Anvu captain, who was now commanding the front line. As Hiruzen called him back to give a status update, the captain of the Anvu, who wore a tiger-shaped mask, kneeled as he waited for Hiruzen to speak. Tiger, report, Hiruzen ordered sternly. Currently, over half of our main forces are either dead or wounded. We are constantly being pushed back farther and farther, and at the rate that is going, we will be destroyed in about 40 minutes. At the least, or an hour at best. Where is Minato? He should be out there leading them, Jiraiya stated. Hokage was with us when we first clashed with the Kyuubi, but about 20 minutes in the battle, he told me that he was leaving and let me take charge of the shinobis, the Anvu reported. His last order was for me to hold back the Kyuubi as long as possible. When I asked where he was going, he informed me that he was returning back to the village to prepare a plan to stop the Kyuubi once and for all. The tiger answered. This of course confused Jiraiya and Hiruzen. What kind of plan is Minato thinking about that could stop the fox once and for all? Neither of them could think of anything, neither a jutsu that could stop him at the moment. Hiruzen then take command. Tiger, I want you to head back to the front line to take control of the forces and hold back the Kyuubi until the fourth Hokage arrive. he ordered, as the tiger envoy quickly nodded as he shone Shin out of there, going back to the battle. Jiraiya, I want you to follow along with him. Summon Gamabunta and help them and hold back the fox with the best of your ability, but be extremely careful and do not do anything rash until Minato arrives. Jiraiya nodded as he was about to run through some hand signs when he heard something behind him. As him and Hiruzen turned around to see Minato with his son that just born 2 hours ago in his arms. Minato, where the hell have you been? And why did you brought Naruto here? Do you want him to get killed? This is no place for him. Where is Shizune? Jiraiya said. I sent Shizune to go help out with the wounded in the hospital, since the staff need all the help they could get. But that still doesn't explain why did you brought Naruto here, Hiruzen stated. A determined look appeared in Minato's eyes. The reason I brought him here is because he's going to save Konoha from the Kyuubi. The 2 older men looked confused, prompting Minato to explain. Naruto is going to save Konoha by becoming the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. I leave to prepare the sealing. Jiraiya and Hiruzen look at him with complete shock. Minato, you can't. That is your son, for God's sake, Jiraiya shouted. I know, said Minato as he looked down at Naruto, but I have no other choice. Minato, how do you even intend to seal the Kyuubi inside of Naruto? The Kyuubi is wild and powerful for any normal sealing jutsu. I plan on using one of the Uzumaki clan sealing. One of them that Kushina taught me, the Death Demon Containment Seal. It should be powerful enough to seal the Kyuubi away. As both Jiraiya and Hiruzen looked at Minato like he was crazy. Jiraiya being well versed in sealing himself, knowing that Minato cannot do this without dying. Minato nodded silently, with a faint smile on his face. Yes, I know that I will die. I will split the Kyuubi chakra in 2, where the half will seal within Naruto with the 8 tetragram seal, while the other half is sealed inside of me. But still, Minato, this is your son. You know what kind of life Jinchuriki have. They are either turned into human weapons or treated like complete outcasts because people fear that a demon will take over their body and control them. If you have to seal the Kyuubi in a child, then please consider someone else, Jiraiya said. How can I ask another family to give me one of their children to turn into a Jinchuriki when me here cannot even bear to do it with my son? But I know I have to, for the sake of the village. Besides, Sensei, you cannot even know how hard this is for me to do, knowing that after this, I will never be able to see Naruto or how he grows up. But I have no choice. I have to do this, said Minato. Okay, if that is the case, then show me how to do the jutsu and I will do it. Naruto is going to need a father. He is going to need you. No, let me do it, Hiruzen cut in. I have already lived a long life and I will risk my life to protect this village. So let me. Thank you both, but it has to be me, Minato stated. But Jiraiya was going to speak, but Minato cut him off quickly. Sensei, I am the Hokage, and I must protect this village. If anyone is going to be responsible of placing this burden on Naruto, who else but me? Besides, I already know the sealing jutsu, and it will take too long for you two to learn it. So, I am the only one who's ready and prepared to do this. As for the next 10 minutes, Minato get ready and prepare the seal. Every small moment that went by made them all feel more useless, as Jiraiya wanted to be the one who did the seal. Hiruzen wanted to do it as well, but they know that if they slipped up one bit, they could end up killing Naruto and left everyone to deal with the Kyuubi. so Minato was the only candidate that could do this. As both Jiraiya and Hiruzen tell Minato their farewells, as Minato asks both of them to look over Naruto and Tsunade to make sure that the two of them live a good and wonderful life, and tells Tsunade that I didn't have any other way. As Jiraiya then stepped up and gave Minato a big hug, as he knew that this was the last time he will see his student alive. Minato then went on to tell them about the toad that he has drawn the key within to strengthen or weaken the seal. It will naturally weaken over time, so it needs to be maintained. It will even allow Naruto to complete his own unique jutsu. Sensei, I also want you to train Naruto when he gets older, so he will be strong enough to protect himself in combat and future threats. Jiraiya nodded as if he was giving an order. But guys, I'm gonna end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And yeah guys, for now, I'm out. Peace.